In this video, you will learn 2 ways to set up your room for a hybrid meeting. A hybrid meeting has participants both in the room and online at the same time. Specifically, we're going to compare a compact layout where the presenter is next to the screen and a split layout where the presenter is on the opposite side of the room. Both layouts have their pros and cons, and by the end of this video, you'll be able to decide which layout is the best fit for your hybrid meeting setup. My name is Markus. On this channel, I help you engage better with your audience. There's links to everything I'm talking about in the description below the video. There you can also pick up my free video conferencing checklist, and you can jump between the sections in this video with the chapter markings on the timeline. In the compact hybrid meeting layout, you have the speaking area close to the screen, and that screen is showing the online meeting to the people in the room. That screen could be a projector or a TV. The rest of the equipment is also positioned fairly close to the speaking area. In this setup, there is also a second screen, and that's the laptop screen. So if the speaker wants to see the online meeting, they would look into the laptop rather than the projector screen. There are 2 cameras connected to this meeting. One is connected directly to the laptop, and it is directed towards the speaking area so that the online participants can see the presenter. The second camera is directed towards the audience so that the online participants can see the audience members in the room. Audio is handled by this conference speakerphone, which has a microphone and a speaker, and makes sure that both the in-room participants and the online participants can all hear each other. All the products that I use in my setup are linked in the description below the video. The compact hybrid meeting layout represents a traditional room layout. This is what you would find in a conference room. Usually you would have the speaker in front of or next to the screen when they're presenting. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of the compact hybrid meeting layout. Pro number 1 is that the presenter has access to the laptop. Maybe they have their notes on there, or they want to control their slides. Or, like is often the case in my hybrid meetings, is that I'm in charge of the meeting and I sometimes need to make changes on the fly, and it's great for me to be able to do that from the stage on the laptop. Pro number 2 is that it makes it easy to remember to look into the camera when you're speaking from the stage. When there is no huge screen in front of you, it's less likely that you will be distracted by that screen and you will actually look into the lens, which is what you need to do in order to engage your online meeting participants. When you place your camera on a tripod like this, it's almost like it becomes one of the meeting participants, and it will be in your eye line as you look into the rest of the room. If you do want to look at the laptop screen, you have to actively look down, especially if the laptop is placed on a table rather than on an elevated surface. Pro number 3 with the compact layout is that the audience in the room is always looking in the same direction, because both the screen and the speaking area are on the same side of the room. Now let's talk about the drawbacks of the compact hybrid meeting layout. Drawback number 1 is that the projector can end up blinding the speaker if they walk in front of it, or the speaker can actually block the image from the projector. This is the same problem that we often see in a traditional conference room setup. One way to solve this is to place the projector next to the speaker instead of in front of them. That is, in fact, what I've traditionally done in my hybrid meeting setup. But the limitation is that then the image becomes smaller as you move the projector closer to the screen. Drawback number 2 relates to lighting. In my hybrid meeting location, I have these adjustable lights, and I always direct the strongest light towards the speaking area so that the online participants can clearly see the presenter. But these lights can actually drown out the light from the projector, which means that the projector image is more difficult to see for the people in the room. The third drawback of this layout is that there is a bunch of gear in front of the speaker, and that is not going to look so attractive to the people who are looking at the speaker in the room. We can solve some of the problems in the compact hybrid meeting layout with a split layout. This setup uses exactly the same gear, but we have moved the speaking area to the opposite side of the room. Conceptually, this is similar to a traditional Zoom meeting where you have a big screen with the entire meeting in front of you. The first benefit of this split layout is that you can see the entire audience at one glance. You will have the meeting on the projector in front of you, and then on the side you will see the audience members who are in the room. The second benefit of this layout is that there is no risk that the projector light will blind the speaker or that the speaker will accidentally walk in front of the projector. Another benefit of this layout is that I can light the speaker independently and I don't have to worry about potentially overpowering the light from the projector. And benefit number 4 is that the speaking area looks a lot cleaner when there is not a bunch of equipment in the foreground. But there are some drawbacks of the split layout as well. Number 1 is that this layout makes it very easy to forget to look into the camera because straight in front of you there is this huge projector screen. And we really have to train ourselves to actively look into the camera lens and not to the screen when we're speaking in a hybrid meeting. One potential workaround would be to place the camera in the center of the table rather than on the side like I have it set up. But this would then, of course, block a part of the screen. A second drawback of the split layout is that I, as a speaker, no longer have easy access to the laptop because I keep it with the rest of the gear on the screen side of the room. Of course, if I had longer cables, I could bring the laptop closer to me. Or potentially you could also connect everything wirelessly, including the projector. But my camera, at least, I cannot connect wirelessly. This is the Canon M50 and it needs a USB cable for this setup. A third drawback of the split hybrid meeting setup is that the audience members have to turn in 2 different directions. If the speaker is physically in the room, they have to look in one direction, and if the speaker is in the online portion of the meeting, they have to look towards the screen instead. In addition to the compact and the split layout, we could consider a third layout as well, an angled layout. This is where I would have my in-room audience directly in front of me, and then I would have the projector screen on the side instead. At first glance, this does not make sense to me as an alternative layout. I think it would highlight the fact that the online participants are kind of second-class citizens when they would kind of be off to the side a little bit. Maybe one advantage would be that the in-room audience members would have to turn their heads a little bit less because they only have to look to the side and not completely turn around. Let me know in the comments below the video which hybrid meeting layout appeals to you. Do you like the compact layout, the split layout, the angled layout, or something else? Let me know in the comments. And while you're down there, maybe also hit the like button. In just a moment, I'm going to share a bonus tip that will help you set up your hybrid meeting. If you've been getting value from the video, please consider subscribing to my channel. I post a new video every Thursday, and they're always about helping you engage better with your audience. So just hit that big red subscribe button. And here's that bonus tip for you. As you start organizing hybrid meetings, do experiment with different technologies and different layouts. But always remember to ask for feedback from the online participants. You may think that everything is going splendidly in the in-room portion, but it could still be a terrible experience for the online participants. So actively ask for feedback from the online participants. It's by doing this that I've been able to improve my hybrid meeting setup. If you want to learn what equipment you need in a hybrid meeting, click or tap the screen right here. In that video, I cover in detail my full hybrid meeting setup, both the pretty advanced version that I use currently, as well as the budget choices that I started out with. So click or tap the screen to watch that video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.